Today we're going to be working our way through analogies. Now, analogies are pretty cool. Here is our first example. We read this as rose is to flower as hammer is to. We're presented with four options. The answer is tool. We can see that because a rose is a type of flower and a hammer is a type of tool. Let's look at a few more examples. We're going to read this as up is to down as left is to what? So when we're doing analogies, we want to analyze the relationship between these first two sets of words. So up and down, they're opposites. So we need to find the opposite of left. Is it right, over, close, or before? Clearly, the answer is right because right is the opposite of left. Next, I can see that our relationship between eyes and see is one of function. Eyes let us see just as fingers let us, is it hear, touch, smell, or taste? Clearly, fingers allow us to touch. We can eliminate the other ones. These are pretty easy. So when we analyze the relationships between words and analogies, we're going to be forming bridges. There's lots of different kinds of bridges, and let's look at the first kind. It's called a function, and let's go through it together. So shovel is to dig as what is to what? We know that a shovel is used to dig, so let's take a look at these examples. Is a bag used to buy? Nope. A baby is used to cry? No. Cloud is used to rain? No. Is a fork used to eat? Yes, it is. And let's look at the last one. Is a car used to stop? No. Clearly the correct answer is a fork is used to eat. Let's take another, look at another example. It's the lacking bridge. So something that lacks an element means it doesn't have it. So ugly is to beauty as what is to what? So something that's ugly lacks beauty. Let's look at the options. Something that's serious lacks humor. We're going to put a question mark. We might come back to that. Something that's painful lacks happiness? Possibly. Something that's old lacks age? No. Something that's hot lacks heat? No. And something that's sweet lacks strength? No, absolutely not. So we've got two options. Something that's serious lacks humor, and something that's painful lacks happiness. Number two is not the correct answer. Number one absolutely is. If it's something that's serious, it lacks humor. So for this exercise, we're going to look at an analogy and complete the second half by forming bridges between the words. In this first example, I see that athlete is to fit as what is to what? We've got four options, and the bridge type is characteristic. So what that means is a characteristic of an athlete is to be fit. We're going to go through each of these four right now. Is a characteristic of a chef to be fat? No. I know lots of thin and fit chefs. Is it characteristic of a dog to be energetic? Nope. I know quite a few lazy dogs. Is it characteristic of a priest to be religious? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to star that. We're going to come back to it. Let's look at the fourth example. Is a characteristic of a dancer to be intelligent? No. Maybe professor or a doctor, but not a dancer. So characteristic of a priest is to be religious. That is our answer for number one. For the second kind of analogy, I can see that it's a function. So microwave is to heat as what is to what. So the function of a microwave is to heat food. Let's look at this one. Is the function of a refrigerator to cool food? Is the function of a freezer to cook food? No. I don't know about yours, but my freezer definitely does not cook food. That'd be pretty cool if it did, though. Is the function of a sink to organize? Nope. And is the function of a fireplace to destroy? No, I wouldn't say so. I think the most accurate example in this case is the function of a refrigerator is to cool. And finally, we'll look at the third bridge type, which is characteristic. Comedy is to funny as what is to what. So a characteristic of a comedy is to be funny. Is a characteristic of a mystery to be boring? No. Is a characteristic of a drama to be romantic? I don't think so. And is a characteristic of a tragedy to be sad? Let's come back to it. Let's look at the fourth. Is a characteristic of a newspaper to be expensive? No. Absolutely not. So inherent in sadness, specifically sad stories, we find tragedies. Tragedy is the option. Comedy is to funny, as tragedy is to sad.